Halal HaWah. Welcome to the 129th installment of the Prester John investigation. Y'all been patiently waiting. ThaWaDa to my cons. All praise our creator, our breath, and our security. Halal HaWah. You see, there's Ethiopians and there's Ethiopians. Love to the con. Natural by law. Go get the drop. And love to the con. Unfiltered history. 144. The black full-blooded gypsies. Let's start right here. Shout out to my Kanye, man. Let's start there. Let's start there, man. Let's start right here. Who are the Ethiopian Moors in Western Europe eating our dragons, man? In the 12th century? Eating the dragon gave them life? See, Ethiopian is a generic term, for dark-skinned people, quote-unquote, specifically those with a fiery glance, fiery, burnt, fiery-looking people. We're talking dragons. In the real context, in the generic term, we're just talking darkies everywhere, darkies everywhere. Ethiopian. See, now we get out of the Greek, Ethiopian comes from Ethiops or Ethiops or Ethiop, just meaning burnt face, basically, Hawaii, ether. Now we talking about that breath. Yeah, now we talking about that water. Hey, you got that water? You got that water? We got that water. All right, so what is the correlation between Ethiopians and gypsies? Again, it's a generic term, so it could be, people of Africa, people of America. Of course, Benjamin Franklin, 1751, Observations of Mankind. It says all you knockers is dark skin. Whether we're talking about America, Africa, Europe, all swarthy, right? All swarthy. So that's not a distinction between tribes when you say Ethiopia, and it's not a distinction between a place, because there's dark-skinned people over in the west and the east, Oriental Ethiopians of the Orient, right? West or east. The Far East is where they found us because they flipped our map, and west is east. Come. So who are these gypsies eating our dragons? We're going to get this out there. Prester John and the Gypsies, man. There is an interesting paragraph written in the 13th century by the English philosopher scholar Roger Bacon about some exotic strangers in Western Europe called Ethiopians. I thought it was just white people drop in Europe drop. Nah, we're talking Ethiopians, right? The reptile that the Ethiopians eat is the dragon. Now, I had to bring this back for the year of the dragon, because this is the year of the dragon. 2024. Big Phineas crisscrossing on her head bone. Free Phineas, man. The reptile that the Ethiopians are eating is the dragon. We ain't talking snake. Somebody tried to they're just talking about snakes, drop. Really? For it is well known that wise Ethiopians have come to Italy and Spain and France and England and those countries of the Christians where there are good flying dragons, boss. We're just talking snakes. Boss, good flying dragons. How do you interpret that to be a good flying snake? But there's flying snakes. Can you stop it, man? And that by occult arts which they possess, they drive the dragons out of their caves. Are they driving snakes? Do snakes have their own caves? I'm not saying there can't be a snake in a cave, but you think they're going to the caves to drive out snakes? Stop it, boss. Just stop it. And they have an art of preparing their flesh and they partake of it against accidents of old age. Now, I never heard nobody eating snakes to get younger and prolong their lives and make their intellect subtle beyond all estimation. You get smarter when you eat snake, or are we talking dragons? Good flying dragons. Good flying dragons. Okay. Now that's Opus Majus 1266. It is not necessary to speculate here that these so-called Ethiopians, so-called, because it's a generic term and you're not talking about the real Ethiopians. So it's quote unquote Ethiopia. So Roger Bacon is saying in the 12th century, or excuse me, 13th century, 1200s, that these Ethiopians were in fact gypsies. Yeah, boss. The black, full-blooded gypsies. I dropped this on our community page on YouTube. Somebody said, why you keep saying black ass King Charles, bro? You hate black? You don't like black people, man? What you so light skinned? You got a light skin disease? He said I had a light skin disease. I'm like, damn, man. I guess you know. All right, look, man. I would never consider myself light skinned, first of all. I'm a brown skinned copper colored nigga. I got light skinned homies that are like yellow, bright, My sister's pretty light. um, but yeah, man. Come on, boss. Come on, boss. When I say black ass King Charles, I'm talking about the English spell wicked, right? So he's a wicked king, right? A wicked king. Black means wicked. I'm specifically breaking the spell. I'm not even talking about the context. See, some niggas see things in two dimensions, not, three, four, five. You know what I mean? But it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Like my homie Diz would say, thoughtless, right? Like Big Mama said, boy, you must be thoughtless. No, I don't have a light skin disease. And no, all light skinned people are not mixed with white. These copper cons found in America are not mixed with white. We have all ranges of copper in our flow, man. Like, let's just stop tripping. So let's see past the two-dimensional layers and focus on the topic, man. Gypsies are melanated. Can we say that? Without the confusion? Because ain't nothing worse than a confused con. Gypsies are melanated. This is a body bag for the illusion right here. Love to unfilter history 144. The black, full-blooded gypsy. So when we talk gypsies, we're talking Egyptsies, right? We're talking Egypt seas, man. First and foremost, gypsies are not like a Tyson Fury gypsy king. No, another misappropriation of our culture. Now, this culture may or may not, not all gypsies are evil and not all Egyptsies are evil. Not all people that would be classified as Egyptian are evil. Not all people that are Moors are evil. Not all of Moab is evil. Not all Israel is evil. Or not all Israel's good. We had some real evil kings, right? In Israel. We had some real evil Israelites, right? So your Israeliteness can't save you. Your blackness can't save you. Your melanin can't save you. What you do and keeping the creator first and keeping the code, that will save you, or it will be your demise. It is not necessary to speculate here that these so-called Ethiopians were in fact gypsies, but only to comment on the surprisingly amicable attitude of the Western European towards gypsy-like strangers and their in the midst of the 13th century. So slow it down. You dropping too fast. Only to comment on the amicable attitude. You know what I mean? This welcoming, good, kind-hearted attitude of these Moors in Western Europe, because what else would they be called if you're an Ethiopian in Spain and Italy? Stop playing. Let's just cut to the chase, right? The Moors that were there are eating our dragons. Not all of them, but maybe the elites, right? So they had a surprisingly amicable attitude towards gypsy like strangers or these other, Egyptians in their midst in the 13th century, which makes perfect sense because only with permission of the pharaoh can they migrate. It's all over their maps. Just go dig on the maps of Moorish Amexem, and some of them say it flat on the maps. We've been digging on this for damn near 10 years, my night, a decade. Only with permission of the pharaoh can they even migrate. So when you see the Ishmaelites coming in, making these treaties and all these, treaties of peace and friendship during the Chickamauga Wars, the Kumse War, it's a more and more war. It's a great on quote unquote great war, right? It's an Ethiopian on quote unquote Ethiopian war. Of course, they're tribed up with the Egyptians, man. They migrating with permission of Egypt, Gypsies. The prevailing attitude seems to be one of awe and respect, and we know that this is generally how the Gypsies were perceived. To Israel or to Egypt or to the Moorish Confederacy of Moorishness, man. Psalms 83. And treated on their first verified arrivals into Western Europe in the late 14th century. Now, 1400, supposedly Columbus found you, my noggin. Let's put this together. You know he was rocking with a Moorish navigator, right? And you know he was rocking with Louis Torres, the translator who spoke Hebrew to the Hebrews in America. Why come with a Hebrew translator if you don't need him? He spoke Arabic and Hebrew. And he was what they call a convert to Judaism. To explain part of the reason why Gypsies were well regarded and well treated on their first arrival, we must, or we can now, turn to a discussion of Prester John and his legend. Who, oh who is Prester John? Does he got that water? Does he got that water? Because Drop Nation got that water. Shout out to David J. Nemeth. And I want to get much more, from this manuscript, the author David put together. We're just talking Gypsies. We're just talking Gypsies. It's deep. First, let me fall back, drop, because you're dropping too fast. We're talking Egypt, right? You talking Egypt, we talking Egypt. We've been maybe over dropping on the IG, dropping the David Rumsey flow, Admiral Byrd, out of the Webster Dictionary, you know, 1930, Commander Byrd discovers new land in Antarctica. We're going to talk Antarctica because we're going to talk Australius, which means southerly. Before it was the Australia all of Antarctica was known as Australius. So keyword, when you're digging on the ancient history of Australia and it starts to connect with this Hebrew Israelite flow, we're going to get a fantastic document. Last time we touched on this document was in Prester John 96, my nigga. We're in Prester 129. We got that water. We got that water. Drop Nation got that water. I ain't taking you know, a bath in the fountains of Utah, in a long time. So I want to get that water flowing for y'all as we're getting our site rebuilt, coming back with our radio platform, and you know, it's all happening. Just know that, and I appreciate my niggas' patience. It's a lot, to balance the family, and I took not a step back, but kind of a sidestep, just to make sure I was dodging all hijacks and staring all my children in the eye every day, having conversations and hanging out and training with them. They popping off. They doing their taekwondo. They doing their jujitsu. They doing their tennis. They doing all kind of activities, and I'm doing it with them. And it takes a lot out of our schedule, and it's just a lot, my naga. But it's worth it, and to see them grow and be excellent at what they doing is really cool. And I know y'all understand that. So ThaWaDa to y'all, man. We on a warpath. They spraying our skies like crazy. They got the 5G popping off. You on the Patreon, you already know. We kicked off a 2.5 drop on that connection with the Tenderoni and the 5G. Click the link below. Please get that drop because we put a lot of effort into it, and we got a lot more coming on the Patreon. My naga. So, yeah, let's talk Egypt, man. Let's talk Egypt. Flat Earth Truth, what it do? Appreciate you. Let's go. Let's talk about it, man. Did you know ancient Egypt was divided by the Nile River, while the United States is divided by the Mississippi River? Hmm? Huh? Did you know 1/3 of the ancient Egyptian territory was east of the Nile, and 2/3 of it were west of the Nile? Did you know that 1/3 of the United States territory is east of the Mississippi, and 2/3 of it are west of the Mississippi? Hmm. Did you know south from the middle of the Nile was a city named Memphis, which was one of the capitals of ancient Egypt? Gypsies. This city was known for a prominent industry of cotton and flax. The fish industry, as well as the paper industry, were also prominent in Memphis. Did you know that south from the middle of the Mississippi is a city named Memphis? Shout out to my Memphis con. Hey, Jay Stu, what it do? This city was known for a prominent industry of cotton, flax, and paper. Dang, that's crazy. Did you know the Nile River went through 5 major cities: Memphis, Deros, Luxor, Alexander, and Cairo? And did you know that the Mississippi goes through Memphis, Tennessee, Deros, Illinois, Luxor, Arkansas, Alexandria? Hold up. Let's get it. Alexandria, Mississippi? Oh, okay. Here we go. Alexandria, Louisiana, and Cairo, Illinois, my nigga. Did you know that? We did. Wow. Oh, wow. We talked Cairo, Illinois last time because it's one of the cities that is very near to where the crisscross applesauce is happening. 2024 Great American Eclipse. April 8th. Did you know that? While it is true several cities in Illinois are named after major cities of the world, what are the odds of this? HaWah. I love taking a bath in that water because you got that water. Alexandria was the city at the delta of the Nile River. Alexandria is the city at the delta of the Mississippi, my nigga. Coinky dink? Did you know that? I would call that a body bag for the illusion. I mean, wouldn't you? Now, I'm not saying America is only Egypt, because some Egypt-minded niggas like to just see things in 2 dimensions. I'm saying that if Egypt is here, so is Israel, boss, as the Hebrews did have to flee out of bondage. And Egypt means bondage when we're talking about the perspective of the Hebrew. Because we know it's tribal war, so don't act like, oh man, that's just some Bible thumping, Bible and doctrine. Stop it, Egypt. Stop it, Moors. Stop acting like everyone must be Moorish and Moors and, part of this confederacy. Psalms 83. You know there's tribes outside of that, right? Can you stop trying to put us at a black hole? If Egypt is here, Israel's here, boss. If Moab exists, Israel exists, boss. Judah exists, boss. David exists, boss. Joshua exists, boss. And Moses exists, boss. Definitely Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? HaWah, right? Did you know? Did you know? All right, okay. Now we know. Bang. Ping, pow. So there's a lot of melanin popping off, right? It's real clear that this is a more on more war. It's very clear, right? Oh, black ass King Charles. No, Job, don't say black ass King Charles. You have a light skin disease. You must hate black people. My mother is a deeply melanated queen, first of all. Pops, he's a copper colored car, you know what I mean? He ain't super, super deep copper color, might have a little more, whatever you call it, lighter than me, you know what I'm saying? Not by much, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, I'm a son of a jazz musician. My mom grew up doing theater in New York, came out here to LA when she was like 15, 16, 7, whatever, by herself. Started doing theater out here with like Louis Gossett Jr. Now, she's been in education for a long time. And, she understands what I'm doing. She understands the wave, you know what I'm saying? That's just a little bit about me, if you need to know. Whether you're on this side of the copper spectrum or that side of the copper spectrum, my nigga, none of that's going to save you. If both of your parents are the most copper melanated, carbonated beings on the entire plane and you ain't cold keeping, what are you doing with that melanin, man? And I know some blonde hair, blue eye, I'm going to call them Nagas because they more down and thorough and code keeping and got more love for our people than some of our own people. Because they would never come over here and rob us for all our gold, rob us for our spirit, like black ass King Charles. So I don't judge a book by the cover. I judge, based on the frequency, man. Because some of them so-called white people are us. They just might be an albino version of us, but they're more us than some of these other. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, man. And all kinfolk ain't con folk, man. Yeah, man. So everyone proud of their copperness or carbonness, and you ain't code keeping. You ain't got no code keeperness. It's vanity. How dark you are is vanity if you aren't who you should be. Put that on a shirt. Put that on a shirt. So again, man, I don't go around banging on somebody because they got straight hair, or banging on them because they got this amount of melanin or that, man. Who's code keeping, man? Who's gonna hold our frequency up in the beginning of the day, in the top of the soul, at the end of the day? Who's gonna hold us up? Because we got invaded by Nagas that look just like us. Equal melanin as us. Black ass King Charles. Stop playing. Stop the play. Hey, we popping off right here, man. Make sure you are on the IG. And I got 2.5 million accounts reached in the last 30 days. My Nagas is popping off, man. Whether it's on IG, YouTube, Patreon. Hey, shout out to my Patreon Nagas. Hey, Tarazanta. Wow, we're going to talk Tarazanta, so this is making perfect sense. We're going to talk about these gateways. Shout out to my Nagas, man. We just open our Patreon. If you ain't got in here yet, which a lot of y'all ain't got in yet, you know, we got about, how many Nagas? About 272 Nagas up in here. 100 of them are paid Nagas. Our membership is only $3 every 30 days, man. So stop playing, my Naga. You know what I'm saying? I know it's worth it. Do you know it's worth it? So, you know, ThaWaDa for checking in on us. But that means 172 of you Nagas is acting like you ain't trying to, you know, be up in it, man. You know what I'm saying? So I know you I know you can rock with the cons, and this 267 a month is going straight to our land. It's going straight to building our flow, our tribe, securing our gates, you know what I'm saying? Our wall of protection. So my Naga, please, I'm asking you, please, if you're a free member, please join the $3 a month paid membership. You could put $1 on it every month with 2 other Nagas if you have to. But get in there because we dropping that drop. And it's the only place you're going to get dropped like this, period, point blank. You know what I'm saying? Because they won't let us talk about this nowhere else. And until we got our website all the way up, this is really the only place you're going to get it from me. You know what I'm saying? So get in here, man. Get in the classroom. A lot of y'all are. And tell my Nagas, real talk, I appreciate all y'all. Even if you just checking in, seeing what we doing. We heating up. That's what we doing. We heating up. So please enjoy the flow. Pay the $3 a month. Help us build our land. Help us build our flow. And it means a lot to us. Real talk, man. I'm new to Patreon, but I really appreciate all your support, man. Shout out to my Aqua Nitzia. She has a great comment, and I want to read this because my sister was kind of Halal HaWah. She was kind of feeling it. You know, she had gotten the tenderoni hit. You know, the tenderoni hit. You know what I mean? And she was a little upset about getting that hit. A lot of people got the hit because they felt pressured or they had to go to work. You know, one of my people just told me, like, he said, man, my wife was the only person in her whole job that didn't get this hit. The whole job. His wife was the only person. Damn. And they all was afraid of losing their job. And she come back. You know, a lot of people came back. They sued, whatever. They got fired. But most people just didn't, you know, felt like they were pressured out because they put so much pressure on us. And we talked about this X situation. We know X marks the spot, right? This placeholder for this, they say, how they call it? unknown, like something's unknown when they know everything. So that when they say unknown, that's just key word for bull crap, right? So, but she got the hit. She felt, type of way. I told my Aqua, look, keeping the code is a magical thing, man. Please don't limit the creator now after knowing and witnessing all the miracles of Hawaii. Please don't think, oh, I got the hit, I'm doomed. That's not why we do these drops. We do them so that you don't continue to go down that path. You know what I mean? But the sister, say, hey, bro, I had to come back, watch, and listen to the whole drop. Like I always do. And yes, you do, Aqua. I appreciate you. And even if it's uncomfortable, knowledge is key to be prepared to fight back. Last year, something very strange happened to me. I fasted for 3 days and my body released something like worms, but different shapes from round to oval. Whoa, whoa. It was a lot of it. My body was shaking during the release. When I got up after cleaning myself and saw those strange white things, I was shocked because I have never in my entire life seen anything like it come out of my body. Knock it out. Don't act like this is crazy. Like, everyone handles their business. She's just expressing this for a reason. All right. So yesterday, my short-lived depression, because she was feeling some type of way, that image came back to me like a message saying, whatever they injected on you, your body ejected. Come on. Come on, sis. Come on, Aqua. And rejected the poison. I love that. I believe that Hawa made my body flush out that crap all at once. Yesterday, I watched a 1965 movie about Genghis Khan on YouTube. It was very interesting. Then I watched Mulan and fell asleep to the morning. My body and mind was tired. Today, I grabbed the bull by the horns. The face was coming thanks to your video. These heathens would do anything to destroy us, but they failed to understand that without us, they are doomed. I think that's partially why we've been preserved. Without these Nagas on the plane, they are roasted. They are roast toast. You know what I'm saying? Like the Creator is only preserving this earth plane the way the Creator. It's almost like they're holding us hostage. Because without us, the Creator would have been scorched this place, man. Would have been. The Creator would have scorched this place to smithereens. Even their oracles told them that. Like, just keep them here, because if they ain't here, there's nothing stopping the Creator from just restarting everything. You know what I'm saying? Just like Atlantis, boss. So she said these heathen will do anything to destroy us, but they fail to understand that without us they are doomed. Hawa has our back, and he is pissed. They just don't know how powerful our parents are. Parents above are. Much ahab, Lil Ak. Hey, big sister, I appreciate that. Halal HaWah for the 12 tribes of Israel. Please, Father and Mother, shield all my brethren from their sorcery. In your tent, I praise you, Hawa, most high over everything. Had to share that with y'all. A lot of our knockers got this hit too. You know what I'm saying? Sister Queen. And none of what we drop is to say you're doomed. A lot of our parents, sisters, I talked about my sister. uh, my light skin disease sister. Nah, man, she got it. Shit, you know what I mean? Her husband got it. None of their kids got it, thankfully. Um, most of the people you're going to come across probably did. Got one or two or whatever. And it's interesting because a lot of people ain't lining up to get that boosters and boosters and boosters. And whatever they coming in with this X, they ain't going to be lining up to get this like that. So we need to know, like, you're not doomed because of whatever, we talk nanos and different things, but Hawa It's HaWah. You talking about the creator of the heaven, of the earth plane. We're talking the frequency, man. So please adjust your mind bone. Don't limit the creator, first of all. Don't limit yourself. And when my sister said that, this stuff came out of her body, and she sees it. She believes. You know what I'm saying? Belief is powerful. Your mind is powerful. Mind is extremely powerful, right? So your spirit is powerful. So once you know, don't just believe, Aqua. I'm talking to you, Aqua, Nitsia. I'm talking to you. Don't just believe, Aqua. I want you to know that you a code keeper. You know what I mean? I want you to know the power of the creator. I want you to know that this stuff is out of you. And when you know that and you realize with real eyes, ain't nothing else to say about it. You keep it flowing, you keep the water flowing, and you keep the fire burning. Halal. Hey. Only on Patreon, man. We popping off on the Patreon, man. Come over here and get this drop. Click the link below. We got a, chat that I check in with daily. Especially since the chat on our website is not activated at this time. So, we got a makeshift chat. And we enjoy it over here. We're sharing the flow. We're going to get back on this David Rumsey map. You see the Prester over here, parlaying in the corner. You know what I mean? Parlaying. The Prester's parlaying. What you up to, Prester John? What you up to, the Prester? Just chilling. Prester said, I'm just chilling, man. Y'all think Prester winning kickback? Hands beyond the poles, man. You think Prester John's over there kicking it? I'm about to get this link. I'm so glad I went back to Prester 96 for this. To just drop that 3-minute drop about Antarctica being recently covered in ice, right? Did a dragon create the Dark Ages? Because they say, they had some meteor situation and, that popped it off. You know what I'm saying? What you doing, Prester John? Just chilling.
Wow.
Prester said, just kicking it. Just chilling. Why they put Prester outside the wall? See, Prester John, the Prester John investigation combines the flat drop 101 with the code keep and drop with the the orientation is the flat drop, but with the frequency drop. And if you know us by now, throughout this decade, that's our flow. We rock with the indigenous truth. So you're going to hear that you ain't from Africa. You're going to hear that you in the East, not the West. You're going to hear that you're in India Superior right here. We're always going to talk code keeping because without that, everything is vanity. We're going to talk orientation because how else can you go to battle if you don't have any idea about orientation? Nobody goes to war or battle without, looking on that map and seeing the orientation and the lands, the layout of the land. You got to know the layout, man. If you think you're on a spinning ball, you are a confused con. That just don't make no sense. How does all this land on your ball? More to the story is don't be a confused con. They got a lot of people outside this wall. What's it got to do with these gateways, these exit points, just like we saw on the ThaWaDa map, like I got on the Patreon page, right? But we got to talk indigenous truth on a regular. We got to talk code keeping. We got to talk flat drop 101. And we got to talk frequency. You got to know that you are in the 432, right? You got to know that you're in a harmonic, sacred geometry, Fibonacci, 9 spiral. You got to spiral up. You got to understand your chakras, your ka. The ka is the dragon. They say chakras, but we don't say sh with a ch in ancient Hebrew. It's a hard K as a ka. The ka, like the book from Mark Amaru, Pinkham, Serpents of Wisdom, talks about how the ka always denotes the dragon. So the chakras are the ka. The serpent rising is the dragon rising. The serpent gets its wings, my naga, once you are in the frequency, in the balance, right? So perhaps it's more of a serpent when it's dormant, but it gets its wings, it becomes a dragon rising, your frequency rising to your crown chakra. So we got to talk frequency. We got to talk code. We got to talk flat drop 101, orientation pies, orientation enchiladas. You got to talk indigenous truth, which leads you right back to the Prester. The Prester John investigation is the only investigation on the entire earth plane that's going to bring you all four of these things, which is our formula. That's our Excalibur sword to slice and dice through Hijack City. It's worked for us all this time, over a decade, my nigga. So it's all the way up for us. So welcome to the home of Drop Nation, man, because you got that water. I don't think all this land fits on your globe. On the globe, it's just like a little white blot at the bottom of the globe, you know. But these gateways, this Terra Sancta, which means holy land, why would Antarctica or Australia's be called holy land? Next to the gateways that lead out, that lead out, that lead out. I don't have to. How many 1500 maps? This is 1587. David Rumsey Historical Map Collection, Monte Orban. It's amazing how detailed Antarctica was in the 1500s, and today it is just a little white blob on the bottom of the globe. And yes, there are gateways to exit this realm or world into more worlds or extra terra, meaning land, hence extraterrestrials, beyond the boundary of the Antarctic Circle. Circle, boss, not ball. Notice there is no ice cap on Antarctica's chest bone. I wonder who played Prester John Priest King outside the wall, and what was he guarding? Anything to do with Gog and Magog? Why not? Talking ThaWaDa. I don't think all this land fits on your ball earth, quote unquote, globe today, does it? It certainly seems that you just go straight to get out to more worlds, which is exactly why they formed the Antarctic Treaty System in the 50s and 60s and taught us in public education that we are spinning on a damn ball and can never reach the outer lands without a spaceship. Literally, a spaceship is a boat, ship in outer space or water. We are so indoctrinated and brainwashed that when we think of Antarctica today, we can only think of frozen land under super duper layers of ice. If that were so, why on this map is Antarctica called Terra Fuego? Or Hotlands? This investigation continues. No cap on Antarctica's chest bone. No cap on my number 2 pencil. Yeah, they got some strangeness on this map. A lot left to investigate. Just on the surface, we still got to get through the gateways. Terra Fuego, Hotlands. Terra de Fuego. All right, look how close South America comes to Terra Fuego. Hotlands, boss. How do you get to ice? Clearly, the Most High sanctioned this stuff to be frozen over, or else it wouldn't have been frozen over. One of my nagas said, did the dragons freeze it over? Because there are ice dragons. There are ice dragons. Or did it freeze over when they was walking around their holy mountain of harmonics in the 1700s around Indiana and Illinois? Fuego. Yeah, boss. I'm going to go ahead and say that South America and Antarctica is the same damn thing. Because this is as close as it gets, man. As close as it gets, boss. Patagonia, right? As close as it gets. Of course, we got that Corvera, Keber, or Eber, or Heber, Heberia, the original Iberia, Iberia. What's over there in the magnetic north center? And who is Prester John? One of my cons left a comment and says, I guess they did some translating on this. I don't know if it was Italian, I believe. He said, yeah, it says Grand Ethiopia, man. That's the greater Ethiopia. Just like Greater Asia or Greater Tartaria, Asia Major, or India Superior. Clearly, there's a superior India and a greater Ethiopia. And you got to figure this stuff out. Wow. Halal HaWah, we talking America, boss. And no cap on Antarctica at all. No ice anywhere. Nothing but tropical animals and strangeness. High strangeness. So, all right, man. We having fun. Make sure you're surfing the wave on the IG. And again, Flat Drop 101, my nine. This new land doesn't fit on your bowl. Wow. Commander Byrd discovers new land in Antarctica. We're not talking about the land that's frozen over, the land you just saw on the David Rumsey map. We're talking about land thousands of miles beyond the so-called imaginary pole points, because they keep having to push them back the further these explorers go. Discover we out there too. They just waiting for us to charge up and leave. My Naga Haran 9 got the drop. Eternal Body of Light says they ain't ready. Chris Bay said, and there you have it. Body bag for the illusion. Obviously, we're having too much fun, reaching maximum pop-offness, my Naga. Again, man, 2.5 million accounts in the last 30 days lets us know we're reaching maximum pop-offness. Prester John and the Gypsies. Oldie but goodie. 2024, might have to look at it again with a dragonfly perspective. So we're talking about the problem of gypsy prehistory between the Danube and Indus rivers circa AD 1000 to 1400s. Now this is like a golden age. A lot is happening. Israel's still thriving. Genghis Khan rose up on Prester John in the 1200s, right? Columbus rose up on us in the 1400s, just 200 years apart. It has been said that the prehistory of the Gypsies ends and their history begins at the beginning of the 14th century. Gypsy prehistory is, in a word, uninformative. As for the Gypsy historical period, it begins quite suddenly in the chronicles of the late 14th century medieval European towns and cities. These chronicles report widely on the first arrivals of Gypsy itinerants itinerants bands, gypsy bands, whose leaders profess to be Christian kings, dukes, and earls of a kingdom in the East, which they called Little Egypt. I'm out of here, bro. I'm out of here, man. I am out of here, boss. Out of here, babe. Yeah. Yeah, the Gypsies. Okay, okay. Okay. Remember, just remember, we're gonna get it, but it is not necessary to speculate here that these so-called Ethiopians were in fact Gypsy. The ones in Western Europe that's eating the dragons. Little Egypt. Which one's Little Egypt? America or the one that they put on a map today, right? They claim to have been driven from their Christian land by infidels. And but them being Christian, again, this is a very generic term as well. They called us Christians just because we were Hebrews and they wanted to have some type of connection with us. Then later they said they couldn't convert us like that back then. They couldn't convert the Mongols. And we even got in books from Thorogood, what's his name? Last name Thorogood, that their main problem was that they were trying to figure out how to convert the Hebrews to Christianity. So how can we convert these Hebrews in America to Christianity? The two major fundamental questions in academia is where did the 12 tribes of Israel go and who populated the Americas? Those are the two main problems or issues or questions in academia, according to Thorogood. Where did the ancient Hebrews go and who populated the Americas? We know that we are the ancient Hebrews and we are those Americans, and it's the same people. Now, whoever these gypsies are connected with these Christian kings. Christianity ain't nothing but an offshoot of the same Egyptian gods, sun gods, and all that. Atlantean gods. Ping pow. Now you're back to, with permission of the Pharaoh, can they migrate? Little Egypt. They claim to have been driven from their Christian land by infidels, meaning the Islamic Turks. Apparently, these claims went undisputed, which indicates that gypsy leaders were very convincing representatives of their people. I'm glad we're getting this in 2024, right? Because they're putting a lot of conjecture in this. Shout out to David Neiman, but you already know, man. It's possible that these same Islamic Turks, which are the Moors, even they would tell you that they're the original Turks, are the same gypsies. The infidels connect with this Dajjal flow. He's supposed to be the king of the infidels in Islam, Dajjal. He's like the Christian Antichrist. The same Muslim Dajjal is the same Christian Antichrist who is Khan Dawi, because he's at war with both the Christians and the Moors, or Muslims, or Islam. Not just David, but we're talking about, the priest kings of Israel have been at war with these sultans and yada yada. It's a tribal war. They don't want to put no light on the tribal war. I don't know why. Clearly, they're hiding something. Because once you think of it or see it with a dragonfly perspective, it's all tribal. It's not about religion. It's about your tribe. And I'm saying these same tribes of Islam and these same gypsies are tribed up. So who are the real infidels that are driving these gypsies? Perhaps they're fighting against Hebrew Israelites in Europe, in Asia. Huh? It's a more and more war, after all. Apparently, these claims went undisputed, which indicates that Gypsy leaders were very convincing representatives of their people. There you go. A good case in point is the encounter in the year 1530 between King James V of Scotland and Gypsy chief called the Earl of Little Egypt. Because 1530 is the same year that we see Prester John on all these maps in the British Museum and America, right? Same year. I'm just trying to get it all in perspective. Where's that Antioch flow? Say it with me, my nigga. Wow. Antioch. Mythical Straits of Antioch. Wow, let it low, let go. You know, we've seen this a million times, right? So, Antioch, Prester John, British Museum, 1530 balls. Outline of the MS map in the British Museum showing connection between Marco Polo's Asia and the so-called New Land, circa 1530. Hold up, man. Come on, man. Let me get my water for them because they over here playing already. You know, I don't want to start slapping hijacks too early, man. Playing already. Okay, here we go. Let's get it bigger. Bang, pow. Okay. So the same year that we're talking about this King James situation, who was also a Negro, but what tribe is he from, right? 1530, right? 1530, right? Con. Okay. Right dead smack in the four corners, you know. We're talking the Kingdom of Rhoda, which is Arizona, um, Utah, all that's right there where they're putting Prester John or Priest King. India Superior is what they're calling it, North America, Cathay, near Mexico, all this stuff, right? And they're saying he's surrounded by these idolaters, which is exactly matching up with the scripture, right? King David is always in the Psalm saying he's encompassed or surrounded by enemies. Surrounded. They've placed Prester John and his idolatrous neighbors not very far from Mexico, boss. The name of the map maker is not known, but it bears evidence of having been drawn around 1530 or thereabout. Okay. Let's go. So this 1530 is a magical year. Because in the same time, you got this King James of Scotland going crazy. We got the 1611, right? King James Bible with the Apocrypha still in it. Right? Everything's happening. 1611. So a lot happened. I mean, to lead up to that 1611 version of the KJV. A good case in point is the encounter in the year 1530 between King James V of Scotland and a gypsy chief called the Earl of Little Egypt. The Earl persuaded the king to sign a treaty that pledged the support of the king's armies to help the Earl recover Little Egypt. Little Egypt. For the gypsies from the Turks, in essence, to embark on another crusade. King James' reaction indicates that crusader anxiety was strong in Western Europe. Hmm. Crusader anxiety. Alright. They were afraid of the Crusaders. I don't know how much I really buy this Christian Muslim war that they trying to sell us on, because it seems like they both are in cahoots, tribed up to conquer the promised land really together. When we understand the more and more war, it seems like a cover story. But let's go. In the early 15th century, and that's 1500s, right? So when the Ottoman Turks were still advancing against Christian lands in Central Europe, it also indicates that Western Europeans were even somehow predisposed to accepting the credentials of these exotic gypsy chiefs as authentic. Slow down, dropping too fast. Call me Unknown, cause I got the Prester 101 120, cause we done more. 129, cause we are divine in the night. It's all the way up, man. We right on time. You know, we always on time, man, cause the hijack ain't never late. So we gotta be right on time. Halal HaWah. Back it up, back it up, back it up. Back it up. Back it up. A good case in point is the encounter in the year 1530. The same year where the British Museum got Prester on the map. So they know where the Prester is at this point. And they know where Prester John is, right? Hey, hey. I probably gotta, man, all right, man. I'm just straight bigger for y'all. They just keep playing with me, man. Why you keep playing with it now? I'm gonna stop playing on it now, man. All right, here we go. So Prester John is placed near Mexico with all of his idolatrous neighbors around. Okay. Okay. Right. 1530. So they know where the Prester is. This is after Columbus 1492 sails the ocean blue. 1530. They know where Prester. They know India's superior. That's why they calling everybody Indians, right? 1530. Come. We got that water. Yeah, man. Drop Nation. You got that water. What you going through? You have a home. We don't need a website to have a home. We don't need Patreon or Instagram or YouTube to have a home. You got a home right in your heart bone. You got a home with HaWah. in the code that protects you. They know where the Prester is at 1530. David Nemeth knows, Central Michigan University knows. And a good case in point is the encounter in the year 1530 between King James and the Egyptian pharaoh, what they call the Gypsy chief. That's why I said slow down, drop too fast, get it back, get it back, get it back. So in the year 1530, King James and the Egyptian pharaoh, called the Earl or the Duke, right? Sounds like Edom to you? Sounding like Edom? Some would say that King James is an Edomite. Some would say. The Earl persuaded, or the Pharaoh persuaded King James to sign a treaty that pledged the support of the king's armies to help the Pharaoh recover Little Egypt, for the Egyptians, man. From the Turks, I don't think so, because only with permission of the Pharaoh can they even migrate. That seems like the cover story. They don't look. The hijack playbook don't change. The same thing they do today. America says they got beef with Russia and this whole Cold War situation, but really they're really tribed up with these elites, right? All the elites are tribed up. We don't have to speculate about that. That's not a conspiracy, man. We got beef with China. China's gonna take over America. Nah, come on, man. Come on, man. The focus and the intentions of Hijack City has not changed. They're at war with nature. They're at war with the indigenous cause of India Superior specifically. They're all working together for that purpose. It's just their only kind of schism is, how do we convert these Hebrews to Christianity? How do we convert these Nagas to not being most high over everything? I know we got a lot of Nagas still to this day, even that surfing away, still rocking with the New Testament, right? Still rocking with their Yeshua, Yahweh, right? Some may understand that the laws are not done away with. They may say we're not as Christian as those Christians, but we do believe that, Yah came in the flesh. And Yah in the flesh, Yeshua is going to save us. Shout out to my Rastacons. We got a lot of Rastacons that, rock with the Haile Selassie and, different things, man. But look, it's all good, man. Me personally, man, I ain't got no tolerance for this hijack in 2024. I got no tolerance for the hijack in 2024. We done built too much on our flow, our frequency. We done spoke about it so many times, and we on Prester 129. If you don't see, it's because you choose not to see. You still calling the creator Yah, like the rest of these hijacks. Yah HaWah, Yah this and Yah that. You don't even get your Yah before you get your Zah. How do you not get the creator's name before you get your nourishment, man? I'm talking the first 7 letters of the Hebrew. I gotta go to the Yad, which means worship. The creator's name ain't worship. It's breath, revelation, security, foundation. You get that. You get the HaWah before you get the 5th and the 6th letter of the Hebrew before you get to your Zion, God. You don't have Zion without a breath, and security. Anything you get after was not essential to you having nourishment and having a cut-off day or a cut-off event like building a wall to separate, which happens in your het and then your tet, like a basket. You know what's you know what's surrounding, and you know what's included in your basket, in your tent, in your wall. Don't play with me with the frequency you get after you have a separation, a cut-offness, a Zion. So King James had a treaty with Egypt or Gypsy. They make their story up, this versus that, but it's not true. They make a story up, white versus black, but that ain't even true. You think all white people are against melanated people? That's not true. Most are just as ignorant as we have come to be. Our war is not with the ignorant. Our war is with the well-informed that are making treaties, boss. These kings' armies made a treaty. These Egyptians and Gypsies made a treaty with these Turks or Moors. With permission of the Pharaoh, do they migrate? Let's go. Walter Starkey called this kind of early diplomatic encounter between Gypsy chiefs or pharaohs and Western European leaders or Moors a reoccurring event, my nigga. Then a most clever hoax on the part of the Egyptians or Gypsies. We should recognize it in a positive light for what it actually was, a pattern of successful Gypsy diplomacy. Really? Well, so was the Treaty of Pieces and Friendship in 1786, 87, on the head bone of Dragon Canoe, the indigenous cons right here in America. If that's so successful. Moreover, we should not assume that this diplomatic initiative originated during early Gypsy history in Western Europe, but look for precedents also in the long period of Gypsy prehistory between the 11th and 14th centuries, when Gypsy peoples, it is now agreed, were strung out over the vast area of Southwest Asia, located approximately between the Danube and Indus rivers. I'm not good with Asia. Hold up. I got you. I got you, cons. I got you. Would you stop playing with us, man? It's 2024. It's the year of the dragon. Orientis finds map 1531, and no, I did not create this map myself. Nor did I create the map in the British Museum at the same year, 1530. This is 1531, boss. The same year King James made a treaty with the Egyptian pharaoh. Do you see North America on this map? I'll wait, because I got that water. My tribe is thirsty. We stay thirsty for that water. Hey, don't get dehydrated, man, Hijack City. I know you damming up the place with these damn dams flooding our Negro cities underwater. But the city still exists. Cutting down our trees, but the roots still exist. The cave systems are the roots of the ancient trees. They still exist. Huh? Where's Asia, boss? Where's Cathay? Is that North America, boss? Is that North America, boss? You think I made it up? Okay, slow down, drop. Take a breath. You're dropping too fast. You're dropping too fast. All right, man, look. Asia. When they speak Asia, think North America. When they speak India, superior, you know, I want you to think, I want you to think North America, right? Hey, drop, how's it possible that India, Superior, and Asia are in the same damn place at the same damn time, 1530? At the same damn time that King James is making a treaty with the Egyptians and they're migrating. The Moors are migrating, forming their Morocco. How did this become Morocco, Drop? Hey, Drop, how did this become Morocco? If this is the land of Prester John, if this is Cathay, if this is the Promised Land, if this is the Superior India, the Asia Major, the Greater Ethiopia, Drop, Asia, Drop, Orientus Finds thinks it's Asia. Do you? So when did that Asia become Asia? When did that India become India? When did that Cathay become Cathay or China? Because Marco Polo called China Cathay. You think it's play? I don't think they play. Is it a clever hoax on the part of the Gypsies? Or is it just successful Gypsy diplomacy? Moreover, we should not assume that this diplomatic initiative originated during early Gypsy history in Western Europe, but look for precedents also in that long period of Gypsy prehistory. Between 11th and 14th century, when Gypsy peoples, it is now agreed, were strung out over a vast area of Southwest Asia. Wow. Located approximately between the Danube and Indus River. Indus, like Indian, superior. That the Gypsies were there, we know, mainly from the evidence provided in historical linguistic studies of the Romani Gypsy language. Whoa, sounds a lot like Roman. Did you know that Rimmon in Hebrew means pomegranate? Did you know that Joshua and Caleb found pomegranates to prove that they're in the promised land? Did you know that? Did you know that Romani Hebrew means pomegranata? A fruit that grows in Israel, boss? Huh? What would that have to do with Asia Major? And why did they not have it listed as North America in the 16th century, 1500s. Did you know that this is Rome? Did you know that this is Rome, Georgia? And what about the Kingdom of Georgia? Did you know that connects back to Prester John? Shout out to my pops, man. Rest in power. The Andrews in Georgia. Go recon it. Go recon it. Historical linguistic studies of the Romani Gypsy language, but again, the problem of Gypsy prehistory is that we have scarce little information about the exact locations, concentrations, and durations of stay of the ancestors of European Gypsies during their sojourn in Southwest Asia, or about their lifestyles and economics. The entire Crusader era appears extraordinarily confusing today, for truth and fiction are often hopelessly tangled. Nevertheless, it was a fascinating era. Contrast and conflicts between forces of commercial pragmatism and religious mysticism created some quite bizarre incidents and circumstances. Quite bizarre, like eating our dragons, like the More War. Great legends were born in that superheated crucible of commerce, religion, and war, centering on the city of Constantinople during the final centuries of the Byzantine Empire. Did you know that the Byzantine Empire was originally called Mazaka after Mossack, the founder, boss? Did you know Mossack is Moses, who they call an intriguing primal ancestor, boss? And here is also where the ancestors of most of America's contemporary gypsies once sojourned during their prehistoric westward migration. Westward, like being westward bound in Asia Major, India Superior, America, perhaps for centuries. One of the most durable and widespread legends to come out of Southwest Asia during the crusading era involves a man called Prester John. Did you know that Prester John connects with the Southwest? And did you know about the sweat hypothesis? Did you know that this hypothesis that the southwestern United States was at one time connected to East Antarctica, boss? Huh? Did you know the hypothesis of late Precambrian fit of Western North America, or India Superior, or Asia Major, or Greater Ethiopia, with the Australia and Arctic Shield regions? Australia and Arctic, you say? What is Australian and Arctic? Did you know that before it was called Antarctica, boss, it was just simply, how do you say it? Yeah, Australius. How else can you link Australian and Arctic if you don't know Antarctica is Australius? Do you see the connection between South America and Australius? Terra de Fuego. Do you see any cap on Antarctica's chest ball? Is there any ice? Another 1,500 maps, my nigga. We're going to dig on this. We have a great link that's going to take us all the way to the outro. It's a very detailed link. Like I said, we ain't got it since Prester 96. But it's going to link the Australia's Antarctic Shield connection. Antarctic just means southerly, right? The hypothesis of the late Precambrian fit of Western North America with the Australian Antarctic Shield region permits the extension of many features through Antarctica and into other parts of Gondwana. What's Gondwana, boss? Large landmass, sometimes referred to as a supercontinent. Oh, we're talking Pangea talk. It was formed by the accretion of several craters beginning circa 800 to 650, with the Eastern African orogeny, the collision of India and Madagascar with East Africa, and culminating in circa 600, right? So, okay. Basically, the sweat hypothesis is the southwestern United States and East Antarctica. One time being connected. So all this at one time connected to Tara Zanta. Tarzanta who? Tarzanta what? Tarzanta wow. It appears that Tarzanta, which means Holy Land, connects directly at some point with the southwest HaWah of so-called North America. All they did was put a north on America. We don't see no North America on any of these maps. So I'm going to say that is an illusion. North America is an illusion, boss. And there's a clear illusion of seclusion. Because there ain't no separation. You see how Tarzan just curves like a circle. It's an easy fit that it does connect not only to South America, but it seems to curve right into the southwestern region of North, so-called North America, Asia Major, India Superior. What does Tarzanta mean? Tarzanta means holy land or holy ground in Latin. Tarzanta who? Tarzanta what? What you mean, boss? What you mean? Tarzanta. In big, bold letters. Love to see cow, my ox a cow. What do you mean, Tarzanta? Why is all this called Holy Land? And what are these gateways? You mean you can take a boat at the tippity of South America, curve it all around through these portals, navigate your ass all the way out this piece to more worlds beyond a pole? Shout out to F. Amadeo Giannini. And what is Phoenicia? What is Phoenicia? Don't the Phoenician and the Hebrew got a lot in common? What is Tarzanta? Holy land or holy ground? Yeah, they want to connect to JC, Like a lot of my knockers are still in love with Yeshua, New Testament. See, the New Testament is all about intention. As a reader, as an observer, you have to ask, what is the intention of the author of the Gospels? Is it to bring me closer to the Creator, or to introduce me to a new hero who is there making the Creator in flesh, right? But never said, I am the Creator in flesh. There is no saith the Lord HaWah, in the New Testament. It's all this secondhand, and even that JC never said, I'm the Creator and, worship me and none of that stuff. They don't want to remember Joshua, the real Yeshua, Yahabashah, Shalak, under Moshe, who Moshe in Deuteronomy 34 laid his hands on and passed his frequency to. And now Joshua started making the sun stand still, the moon stand still, parting the waters with his staff so the tribe can cross on dry land. That's superior magi magic. Jesus walking on water cannot be compared to parting the waters of the Jordan and having the tribe cross. Jesus in the New Testament, your Yeshua you're so in love with, never went to war for you, never had one single documented battle where he's slaying giants like Joshua, but you don't care about the real Joshua, HaWah, Quetzalcoatl, the rainbow dragon. You don't care about the dragon that got you to the promised land. You care about the mythical, complete necromancy, gospel JC that said, I'm gonna come back one day. But I'm he didn't slay one hijack. But he's the Creator in the flesh. The Creator slays for Israel, Manai. The Creator slays for David, Manai. Because the covenant of Shalom is with Dawid, Psalms 89. The covenant of Shalom is with King David. One shepherd, Ezekiel 34, Ezekiel 37, Hosea 3. Search for the Creator in King David. That's the perfect place to put search for the Creator in my son Jesus. And see the Son of God. Is he God? Can y'all make your minds up? Is he a son of David? Or is he an immaculate conception? Can y'all make your freaking minds up? The New Testament is like a gumbo of bullshit. Yeah, it got some truth in it. Every witch's brew got some real ingredients, man. They got to put real things in the midst of a spell. They got to use primordial magic in the midst of black magic. Don't fall in love with what you think is real in the New Testament. Just take a step back and see with a dragonfly perspective and focus on the intention of the author. They're introducing you to a new hero. It's a new romance. You are romantically involved with this character. That's why you can't let him go. Because love to the Templar, Irvin Reed, go get his drop. Etymology. What is a romance? Why does drop saying you are romantically involved with this Romani romance? Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Come on, Manat. I can't make this stuff up. What does romance got to do with Roman? Back to Romani. Because the real romance is about a what? The adventures of a knight, a hero. It wasn't about falling in love. It was about the adventures of a knight. What's the adventures of your Yeshua? He walked on water. He turned water to wine. We don't know nothing about his life from age 12 to 30. 18 missing years. Hey, look, I used to be a Christian too. 15 years old, Marcus. Man, I was marching with my church in the shopping malls trying to evangelize. My big bro, shout out to my bro. He ain't like this no more. But he had me go to his church and they would just search and try to make disciples all day. Disciples of what? Disciple means a follower. What are you following? What are you romanticizing? What hero? If your hero ain't the creator, there's something wrong. Wow, there's something wrong with the love affair. You Nagas that still tied to this Yeshua are romantically involved. But what's a romance? A story written and recited, gospels, right? Telling of adventures of a knight who you call Jesus or hero. It gave you the intentions of the authors is to give you a new hero other than HaWah. Often one designated principally for entertainment. My Naga, these churches are just being entertainment for you. Off from old French romance. Uh-oh. We got the Ramani. The Reman. What's the Reman again? In Hebrew for pomegranate. A fruit that grows in Israel. Other parts of the Middle East and often eaten in the Jewish New Year. Yada. Also like a grenade, like fire. Uh-oh. Pomegranate is said to have 613 seeds, just like the commandments, right? Found in the Torah. Something magic about the pomegranate. I love pomegranate juice. As Chef Candy, on her grocery list every time is pomegranate juice for me. But the Rimmon is where they got the Roman. Dodge the vowels. And the Roman is where they're getting the romance. I can't make this up. And their version of a romance has to do with a hero. And so does the Roman or the Romani. But what's your hero when you found the promised land? Who was your hero? The creator, most high over everything, is your savior, Managa. Their intention was to bring you a new hero, a new savior. And then once you see that, nothing else matters. I don't care how much truth is in the New Testament. I don't care about the 144,000. HaWah told us not to number our tribe. We got in trouble for numbering our tribe because it didn't matter about the number. When you got HaWah fighting for you, who are these Romans? Who's the Romani? Even in history of the Indians in India, the Romani connects to these Indias, these Nagas in northern India. We're talking India Superior. Hijack City. Which hero are you going to serve? The Creator or Yeshua of the New Testament? Most High over everything or JC? And if you're going to choose your Joshua, you better choose the right knight, because only one of them is a knight. Only one of them was chosen by HaWah to lead you to the promised land. I'm talking Quetzalcoatl, Joshua, who learned under Moshe, the real Roman, the real Ramon. Australia, let's go. Will King David rule again? Or are you just talking JC? We got much better heroes than they can come with the New Testament, man. You could find some drop in the New Testament, like I said, even in 144,000, yada yada. But in Revelations, there's 12 gates that are open first. And these 12 gates refer to the 12 tribes. JC ain't got nothing to do with these 12 tribes. Yeshua ain't got nothing to do with these 12 tribes. He's an immaculate conception. Come on. But King David, Ezekiel 37, Ezekiel 34, Hosea 3, Joshua 30, will rise again, whom I will raise up unto you. Joshua 30, verse 9. Joshua 30, but they shall serve HaWah their power and David, whom I will raise up unto them. Ezekiel 37, David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall have one shepherd. Where you getting Joshua? Who did HaWah say will be king of kings? Rex Negus, Prester, priest, king. Hosea 3:5. Afterwards the children of Israel shall return, seek HaWah and David their king. We ain't talking some vain king of son of David. But Jesus is the son of David, all throughout the New Testament. Book of Acts, son of David, son of David. He can't be a son of David if he's an immaculate conception. He's a son of God. Why can't he say he's the son of God? And why do you say he is God? And why have you fallen in love romantically with Yeshua? He's not even the one that led you to the promised land, which is the Ramon. Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with yourself, man. Priest, king. We still talking gypsies. Mainly from the evidence provided in historical linguistic studies of the Romani Gypsy language, Gypsies. But again, the problem of gypsy prehistory is that we have scarce little information about the exact locations, concentrations, and durations of stay of the ancestors of European gypsies during their sojourn in Southwest Asia, Southwestern United States, Asia. I can't make this up. Southwestern United States was at one time connected to Antarctica or Australia. Keep that in mind. Let's go. That entire Crusader era appears extraordinarily confusing today, for truth and fiction are often hopelessly tangled. Nevertheless, it was a fascinating era. Contrasts and conflicts between forces of commercial pragmatism and religious mysticism created some quite bizarre incidents and circumstances. Great legends were born in that superheated crucible of commerce, religion, and war, centering on the city of Constantinople. Wow. During the final centuries of the Byzantine Empire. And here's also where the ancestors of most of America's contemporary gypsies once sojourned during their prehistoric westward migrations. Perhaps for centuries, one of the most durable and widespread legends to come out of the Southwest Asia during the crusading era involves a man, a Khan, called Prester. But before I introduce the major character, I must set the stage on which his drama unfolds. Southwest Asia has strategically positioned between Europe, Africa, and the bulk of Asia. Since the beginnings of history, its diverse people have served as middlemen at the crossroad of civilization. Every world conqueror since Alexander the Great has coveted Southwest Asia, right? One more time. For my knockers in the back of the class, what are you saying? Southwest Asia is Southwest North America, which connects to Antarctica. Remember that. And the Balkans between the 11th and 14th centuries were not merely passive witnesses to these power struggles, but active participants to the extent that their economic activities and special skills were useful and available to the major groups in conflict. Five of the major powers fighting to control Southwest Asia and the Balkans. Khans. And Baal sounds like Baal. Khans, right? During Egyptian prehistory, there include the Christian Byzantine Greeks, founders of Constantinople as the center of Christian orthodoxy, the Islamic Seljuk, and later the Ottoman Turks, who usually controlled the territories from Baghdad, the Christian Latins, with major powers based in Rome and in Venice, and the Mongols, whose origins were in the East and Central Asia. Mongol just means the great ones, just like Moors. The changing fortunes of these major combatants can provide us with some insights into early Egyptian migration, gypsies, and also set the stage for a discussion of the origin of Prester John and the spread of his legend. The Byzantine Christian Empire was founded in AD 324 when Constantine deserted Rome at his imperial capital. He founded Constantinople as the heart of a new Christian empire located at a superior coastal location on the strategic Bosporus Straits between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. At the western tip of the Anatolian Peninsula, Constantinople soon became the largest commercial center in medieval Europe, with an excellent and well-protected harbor. After the 9th century, the inhabitants of the Byzantine Empire were largely Greek-speaking and Orthodox Christians under Basil II, circa 1025. The Byzantine Empire was considerably smaller in extent than previously, yet well consolidated between the Danube River in Central Europe and the upper Euphrates River in eastern Anatolia. The strength of his empire is said to derive from its Anatolian resources, particularly rich agricultural land scattered amidst vast natural pastures, supporting a free and prosperous peasantry that provided soldiers to protect the realm. There were also important commercial centers and trade routes, mineral wealth, and skilled metal craftsmen. So the resources of Byzantine Anatolia were coveted by every power in the region, but the most powerful challengers to Byzantine power in that era were the Latins in the west, the Mongols in the north, and the Turks in the east. The Christian Latins in the Western Europe were motivated against Byzantine power by both their religious zeal and commercial greed. Venetian and Genoese merchants gained a toehold in Anatolia as early as 9th century, and their influence and power in that region grew rapidly with the advent of the Crusades. The first Christian crusade organized by the Latins to regain the Holy Land from the Islamic Turks was launched in 1096, and the last was launched in 1271. The Byzantines were not particularly enthusiastic about the crusading movement since it brought hostile Latin armies to their borders. Their worst fears were realized in 1204 when the military forces of the Fourth Crusade were encouraged by Venetian commercial interests to sack Constantinople. Now, why would they sack Constantinople 1 year after the death or invasion of Genghis Khan? You know, the death of a King David in America, in Tangu. And the story goes that Genghis Khan invaded Tangu, which is right on our maps in North America, right? I'm talking India Superior. Now look at this little blob. When we know that Antarctica's curving around everything like we just saw. But this is how they put it now. They hide all this land. Why would they hide all this land, boss? Why would they hide all this land? Gotta make it make sense. And it's still called Terra Fuego, which means hot. Hot, my naga. Not ice. Hot. And what's it got to do with India Superior or North America, right? Or Cathay, which means pure land, next to La China, next to Mexico and Mangi and Tangu. We got out the book The Swords of the East that Genghis Khan directly fought a war with Prester John in Tangu first. So this was where Genghis Khan hit first, right here, Tangu, or Canada, North America, all that, right? So Canada is Canada. We're just using a little cartography to make it make sense. So 1202, Genghis Khan invades. In 1204, we're talking about the sacking of Constantinople, or Mazaka, which created a short-lived Latin empire. However, the Orthodox Christian forces of the Byzantine Greeks regained Constantinople in 1261. Thereafter, the Byzantine Greek leaders neglected their eastern Anatolian lands, allowed the Islamic Ottoman Turks or the Moors to grow and spread rapidly, Halal HaWah, and to encroach on Constantinople and the Baal or Baal Khans from the east. Islamic Turks, all right. The first major victory of the Turkish forces against the Byzantine Greeks had occurred as early as 1071 at the Battle of Manzikert. Manzi, okay, near Lake Van. in eastern Anatolia. Nearby were these historical trade routes between Europe and Asia and important tin and copper deposits, like the Atlantis orichalcum, cities of gold, which had been worked since Roman times. These particular Turkish peoples were called Seljuks of Rum, and they spread their empire. I never connected rum with Rome. Khan, from central Anatolian plateau and pasture lands in all directions between 1100 and 1243, forming a sizable empire. It was at this time that many eastern Anatolian peoples were moving westward bound. We conjecture that many gypsy peoples may have moved with them. Yeah, and they kept moving with this Ishmaelite migrant we've been getting on, with this holy mountain of harmonics get the drop. 1141, non-Islamic Central Asian Turkish people thought to be Nestorians. All right, got it. And we know that Nestor or Nestorian refers to an old king renowned for wise counsel, or a wise old king. Back to Prester John. And they're non-Islamic, meaning that they are not a part of your Moorish Confederacy, but they have something to do with Central Asia. You got that water? They have something to do with Central Asia. Cathay. Cathay. Hey, how to my ama, Catherine, Cathay. I'll call her Cathay, yo. Mama drop what it do. I'm talking Cathay, yo. God, India superior. Nestorian Christians defeated Eastern spreading Seljuk forces, so these Hebrews, old king renowned for wise counsel, defeated the Moors near Samarkand in Central Asia, right? Do you see clearly, Manak? Let's go. This battle had great impact in the West by raising the morale of the Christian crusaders. Eventually, 1243, Mongol forces swept out of Central Asia to defeat the Seljuk Turks completely at the Battle of Kosk Dog. This initiated a 100-year period of commercial stability in Southwest Asia called the Nomad Peace. The Mongols, or Tatars, were remarkably tolerant of all religions. Well, now we got to differentiate between Prester John Mongol and Genghis Khan Mongol. Because after Genghis Khan invaded Prester John in 1202, these new Mongols were very tolerant of anything, as long as you were fighting against the armies of King David. But their princes finally converted to Islam. And now they tell us today, Islam, brother. Islam, brother. Come on, boss. You don't think we know what went down? You don't tell a Hebrew Islam. David wasn't rocking with Islam. The Hebrews weren't rocking with no Islam. The Hebrews weren't rocking with the Christianity. So the Christian church is against David, which is why they call him the Antichrist, even if they don't know it. And the Muslims weren't rocking with King David, which is why they call him Dajjal, even if they don't know, which further weakened the Byzantine Christian hold, or Hebrew hold, in Anatolia. 1320, a few remaining Christian territories in Anatolia were hopelessly isolated and occupied only the fringes of western Anatolia. Now, Anatolia, to me, just my own my own conjecture. Anna is like Lady Hannah. It's like Hanan. Hanan is the brother of King David. Hanan is the son of Prester John. Hanan is also called Canaan. They sometimes put a K or a C in front of it, or they'll drop the C and call it Hanan, or they'll drop the H and call it Ania. Lady Hannah is also Lady Anna. And in the Quran, Moses' mother is called Anna, or Hannah, or Anatolia. Anatolia is Ania. And we're still talking America, boss. India, superior. That's just my conjecture, but let's go. Because I want to get into this great link, which we'll continue with in Prester 130. Worse, the Byzantine territory in the west, especially in the Balkans, was now being seriously contested by the Turks. 1354, the Ottoman Turks had forced a bridgehead into Europe and subsequently engulfed Thrace, Bulgaria, and eastern Macedonia in the Balkans. Constantinople was itself bypassed and isolated, though still an impregnable fortress. Quote, the city fell finally to the Turks. Whoa. In 1453. Now, what happened in 1452? Oh, you're talking about the Doom Diverses? Doctrine of Discoveries. So the pop-offness happened 1 year after Pope Nicholas issued the papal bull Doom Diverses on the 18th of June, authorizing Alfonso V of Portugal to reduce any Saracens. Nah, let us find the truth. We ain't talking about Islam. We're talking about people of a promise, which is what the term Muslim means, the people of a promise. We're talking the promised land Nagas, not Islam. The pagans are anyone that's against their Jesus. The unbelievers are anyone that don't believe in their Jesus, because these are Christians. The Pope is not the Prester. The Pope is pretending to be the Prester. He's the priest and king of Vatican City. This facilitated the Portuguese slave trade from West Africa. Where's West Africa? We know the Amexa map has North America as Northwest Africa or Amexa. We, weighing all in singular the premises with due meditation, and noting that since we have formally by other letters of ours granted, among other things, free and ample faculty to the aforesaid King Alfonso to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens. Last time that I checked, the Saracens are the lost tribes of Israel. Are the Rus. The Russians are what Russia's named after. X marks the spot, right? Disease X. Get it? Get it? Arab or Arab proper? Now we're on our jock time flow again. Remember that? Because these pretending Arabs are not Arab proper. We're talking about the seeds, the sons and daughters of Eber, right? In the Jewish Encyclopedia, receipts on receipts on receipts. Jocktown, originally called Kata, like Kata, like Cathay, like Kateo, C's and K's. Ancestor of several South Arabian tribes, but who are these Arabs? Sons of Eber, which is the Hebera or Iberia or Kiberia or Quivera that we're seeing on these maps. This is but the legendary form of the tradition that Catan was the progenitor of the southern Arabs or Arab proper. Did you know there was an Arab proper and an Arab improper? The same as there's an India superior and an India inferior. The same as there's an Asia major and an Asia minor. A greater Ethiopia and a lesser Ethiopia. While the Ishmaelites that are migrating are of non-Arab stock. Because to be a true Arab is to be a true rabbi, a lawgiver connected with Eber. And if you're of non-Arab stock, Ishmaelites, you got to ask yourself, why are you migrating, boss? Pretending to be Arabs, they adopted Arab customs and intermarried with genuine Arabs or Arabis, lawgivers, being therefore called mustarabs, musty-ass rabs. Is that right? Oh, Morocco, why are you migrating with permissions of the Pharaoh? Oh, Morocco, why are you setting up shop where X marks the spot, where the great American eclipse is crisscrossing Cairo, Illinois, Indiana? Oh, Ishmael, why aren't you the real Arabis? Why are you not Arab proper? Why are you not proper lawgivers? Is the law not in you? Is the code not in you? And what do these glaciation lines have to do with the little ice age, boss? Can y'all get a pen and a pad and just write little ice age? Because that's what we're going to get for the dismount. That's what we're going to get for the dismount. Ishmaelites, why are you migrating on the headbone of Dragon Canoe, the Chickamauga, Cherokee, and Tecumseh? Why are you forming treaties of peace and friendship with the Moors, who's benefiting off of all this land from the Treaty of Fort Wayne and the Treaty of Greenville? 30 million acres at a time, millions of acres. Dragon Canoe said, no more, man. Why is this the limit of glaciation in America? Did you know there were glaciers in America? Did you know America was frozen when they were migrating? Frozen over? Why is America frozen over? Is it because of all the death of the Nagas? Did it curse the land? What does this glaciation have to do with Antarctica being suddenly frozen over? Ishmael, Ishmael. Oh, Ishmael, why are you not Arab proper? Why are you of non-Arab stock? Why are you pretending? Why are you adopting a rabbi customs? Why are you adopting why are you adopting the law customs? Yeah, the Quran really adopts a lot of customs. They say we're perfecting the Bible. Why are you adopting our customs and marrying our women? Why do you need to marry into the promised land? Why can't you just be proper? Why are you so musty? Why do you stink so bad? Huh?
Wow.
Why? Why are you migrating when we're at war? Oh, a rabbi, improper. Did you forget we're at war? Did you forget the Comsay's at war? Did you forget the Comsay
Wow.
is a Hebrew? I'm talking about the original history of America. I'm not talking about made up history. I'm not talking about improper history. Yeah. I'm talking about the Hebrews. In these old books, we gotta dig up mustard raps. I'm talking about the history of ancient America. Musty raps. Huh? You got that water. I can't separate the indigenous truth from your musty ass because your musty ass is migrating, forming treaties on our priest kings. You think you can get away with it? You think we're gonna let that slide in 2024 when we seeing clearly in the year of the dragon? Oh, you know what recompense means? First, we're gonna embarrass your ass because you got nowhere to slither away. Because we know the alchemical serpent is not the alchemical dragon. Yeah. Oh, we got tablets. We got Moshe's. I'm talking about the Israel American tragedy. I'm talking about the Israelites. Ishmaelites. Why are you migrating on the Israelites? Why is Arab pretenders migrating a rabbi propers? This book was published way back in 1813. And they are looking into South America and these ruined cities. Oh, mustard wraps. Did you forget that there's a strong analogy between the religious sentiments of the Khan, of the chief of the forest, and those of the ancient Hebrews? Did you forget? Did you know the language as uttered by Tecumseh is not written by the pen of fiction? Merely to uphold a theory of the brain, but gathered from the archives of a people's history to support a theory of apparent truth. The present writer would not yield to any man in the firm belief that the Aborigines of North America, India is superior, boss, and the ancient Israelites are identical, boss. Did you know? Naga, I can't make this stuff up. There seems to be an Israelite connection here. Suspicion has asserted that all the natives of the continent of Columbus, I'm sorry, continent of Columbus, ha, 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 I gotta get that out, might probably have been originally of Hebrew extraction. Why did Columbus bring a Hebrew interpreter? Why did Columbus bring a Hebrew interpreter, boss? I love y'all. I wouldn't be here without y'all. Just like this world operates off supply and demand, so does HaWah. As the demand increases, so does the supply. And if you didn't demand it, you would not be getting supplied with the truth, my tiger. Whoa, and they killed this man right after 1492. Ain't that so? And he's over here interpreting this Hebrew, right? Did you know? Suspicion has asserted that all the natives of the continent of Columbus might probably have been the original Hebrew. Strong analogy between this chief of the forest and those of the ancient Hebrew. Talking to Kumse. The Aborigines of North America and the ancient Israelites are identical. Did you know? So the Arab propers are not the musty rags. The non-Arab stock is not the Arab proper. And the original Catan, which is the original Cathay, I said the original Cathay. Southwest, right? Sweat hypothesis connects you to ThaWaDa. And Tarzanta means Holy Land.
Wow.
Ooh, Hawaii, Phoenicia, Phoenicia, Phoenicia. Sakal got the drop. Prester John got the drop. India Superior got the drop. Katan was the progenitor of the real Southern A rabbis, the proper ones, which y'all had to intermarry into our sisters to become qualified and validated Arabs. You're not the real Arabia. Arabia connects to the real rabbi. I said the real rabbi. The house of An Rus, where Russia gets its name. Is that Asia connecting with this Asia? That Asia connecting with this Asia. Same land, man. Which all used to connect with this Antarctica flow. Saracen, right? God. We weighing all in single of the premises would do meditation and noting that since we had formerly by other letters of ours granted, among other things, free and ample faculty to the aforesaid King Alfonso hijack cities to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens and pagans, whatsoever other enemies of their anointed Christ. Whosoever placed in the kingdoms, dukedoms, principalities, dominions, possessions, and all movable and immovable goods whatsoever held and possessed by them, and to reduce their persons to perpetual, forever slaves. This is their hijacked battle war decree. To apply and appropriate to himself and his successors the kingdoms, dukedoms. Remember the duke, the earl that we just got from the gypsy flow, counties, principalities, dominions, possessions, and goods, and to convert them to his and their use and, profit. By having secured the said faculty, the said King Alfonso, by his authority, the aforesaid Infante, justly and lawfully. Lawfully like Rabbi? No. Muster Rabs has acquired and possessed and thus possesses, does hijack these islands, these lands, these harbors, these seas, and they do of right or wrong belong and pertain to hijack city and their successors. Successors like just like they hijacked the American title. Whether you call them successors or descendants. Because they stole this title from the copper-colored cons found here, now applied to descendants or successors. Body bag. What happened in 1493, boss? Whew, we got some drop. We got some drop going on. We got some drop going on. 1493, they started popping off. I mean, they been popping off, but you know it. We read a lot, my niggas. We read a lot. 1453, 1 year after the Papal Bull, the city fell finally to the Turks. 1 year after the 1452 Papal Bull gave it to their successors or descendants. 1452. 1493 is 1 year after 1492 Columbus sails the ocean blue. Crusaders consisted of feudal nobility, feudal soldiers, pilgrims, and adventurers of all sorts and from all parts of Western Europe joined and manipulated by Italian merchants. It has been said that before the Crusades, communities throughout the greater part of Europe had lived very much to themselves in limited contact with the outside world. But by the year 1200, right when Genghis Khan invaded Prester, and it's safe to infer that practically every town and village of France, England, Germany, and Italy held someone who had visited the East, Far East, right? And brought back marvelous tales about it. Because you're in the Far East right now. India's superior, my man. They flipped the map. Meanwhile, Western Europe, towards the end of the Crusades, had launched itself into an era of rapid economic growth and change involving cathedral building, urbanization, sounds like gentrification, and forest clearing. They're cutting trees. And it's ambitious yet deeply religious and highly superstitious peoples, or people that believe in the Creator, lived in constant anticipation of receiving more marvelous news and gifts from the East. Their expectations, no doubt, had some specific relationship with Scripture. For example, Hijack City, Matthew 2. And the Bible describes the arrival of wise men from the East, bearing rich gifts. Exactly, right? So they use some truth. And now he's visiting baby JC. But the Magi that's in the New Testament is Prester John. The Ethiopian is Prester John. There is an interesting paragraph written in the 13th century by English philosopher scholar Roger Bacon and some exotic strangers in the Western Europe called Ethiopians. The reptile that the Ethiopians eat is the dragon, my nigga. For it is well known that the wise Ethiopians, Hijack City, have come to Italy, Spain, and France, and England sound like the Moors to you. Those countries of the Christians. So if they're the Christians and they are the same Moors, then the Islam and the Christians are not beefing, man. They got a treaty to find the promised land, to conquer the kingdom of Prester John or the house of David in America or the Far East or the Orient or India Superior or Asia Major or the Greater Ethiopia, my nigga.
Wow.
HaWah. Where there are good flying dragons. And that by their spells, which we got last time, the Leviathan spells and all that, occult arts which they possess, they drive these dragons out their caves. And they have an art of preparing their flesh.
Wow.
And they partake of it against accidents of old age. They don't get no old. They don't get no old. They don't get no old. My nigga. Because they prolong their lives. And they get smarter, right? Intellect, subtle, beyond all estimation. It is not necessary to speculate here that these so-called Ethiopians were in fact Gypsies or Egyptsies. I'm talking black, bliggity black. And I'm not talking complexion, Hijack. I'm talking wicked. Egypt, Atlantis. You worship the gods of Atlantis, it's wickedness. You worship the gods of Egypt, these sun gods, this Helios, the Son of God, on a Sunday. Wicked. Wicked. There's a difference between the Hebrews and these Egyptians, man. Even the Egyptian, what they call them, midwives, they would tell the Pharaoh, yo, these Hebrew mothers, these Hebrew aquas are a little different than us. They rock a little different. Their seed is different. They're different. We're melanated, meaning that we are all natural to the earth plane, but we're of different tribes. We're of different tribes. Like Black Cats King Charles. You know, we're talking the Inca flow, right? Okay, let's start making our way towards the dismount. I ain't trying to be too heavy-hearted, heavy-minded, too many mind bone. This is Prester 129. You got that water. Hit us up, man. MHOEKTC@gmail.com. 432 to drive. Let's go. We got that water. The mission got that water. Too many minds. Yeah, man. Hijack is never late because the indigenous truth is always on time. Aqua Taibazan, what it do? All right, let's go. We ain't got time for no hijack. Back. We know when we talk Antarctica, we talking Australia, and we still in the 1500s. We still talking about Cusco. Very detailed, right, Cons? Very detailed. And there ain't no cap on Antarctica's chest bone. Did you know? Did you know that there ain't no cap on Antarctica's chest bone? See any ice cap here? Nah, boss. We just talking Nagas doing Naga things. Alright, man. They on that play. It is not necessary to speculate here that the so-called Ethiopians were in fact Gypsies, Egypt, but only to comment on the surprisingly amicable attitude of the Western European towards Egypt like strangers in their midst in the 13th century. The prevailing attitude seems to be one of awe and respect, and we know that this is generally how the Gypsies were perceived and treated on their first verified arrivals into Western Europe in the late 14th century. So the 1300s go right into the 1400s. 1452, Papa Bull. 1492, Columbus Southern Ocean Blue. 1530, we got Prester John right here with you, right? 1530. Yeah. Asia. Cathay. 1530. Tarzan to who? Tarzan to why? Oh yeah. Antarctica's well mapped out. Love to see cow. To explain part of the reason why Gypsies were well regarded and well treated on their first arrival, we can now turn to the discussion of Prester John and his legend. And next time we'll probably start right here and read the rest of this. But let's go here. Because I thought they took this link down. I was tripping. I was like, no. But we found a link, so I feel better. This here, I'm gonna get a piece of it, and this is what we'll pick up next time at 1:30 in my noggin. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's connect the Egyptian, Hebrew, Phoenician, right? Remember we see Phoenicia on the map and the Tarzan. Stop the play, man. Stop the play. For the dismount. Let's get it, because it's going to connect right to the Rabadi, Ghani, and Manis, right? The David the First, the Deweys, the Dodis, the Radon, Rodinia, right? So when you dig on this sweat hypothesis, it's going to connect you to Rodinia, which you need to connect to the Radon or the Rhoda. The Rhoda connects directly to Arizona, Monarch, Kingdom of Rhoda. They're going to want to connect it to Rodinia. The Gondwana flow. Wow. They're going to want to connect it to a supercontinent, which connects to the Pangea flow. God, so all this is connected. The Laurentia flow. Wow. Halal HaWah. So it's the only way we can connect all this, man. And there's a dragon passage called the Drake Passage. The Drake Passage, man. Involving the separation of Antarctica from South America, called the Dragon or the Drake Passage. I can't make this stuff up. I can't do it. I literally can't do it. That water. There it is. Rodinia, right? The Rodinia, Mesoproterozoic and Neoproterozoic supercontinent. They say billions, trillions years ago. Stop it. Stop it. All right, Rodinia. Rhoda. So when you see the Radon, he's still talking the same ThaWaDa. King David, Dodi, Rubadi, Gadi, Amani, Gad, Manasseh, Reuben, right? King David is the King of Kings. So Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh fall under Judah. David is still over all the tribes. The scepter never departs from Judah. Radenia, Raden, Rhoda, same thing. Let's connect the link for the dismount. Pull up the links. A great catastrophe occurred in the southern hemisphere. In 1530. Why are we still in the 15? All the major stuff happened in the same year, 1530, which changed that hemisphere dramatically. It was the last in a line of catastrophes to hit the world. So this is the last in the line of catastrophes to hit the earth plane. We gotta zero in on 1530, my nigga. This Prester 129. It was the events of 1530 AD that froze Antarctica. What? This is a body bag for the illusion. Caused a little ice age. Now they say it drastically changed the coastline of Australia. And we know Australia is Australia's. Same Australias we digging on. The same Australias we digging on. Which is so-called Antarctica. Little ice age, right? You could do this with me, Malaga, for the dismount. You could do this with me for the dismount. Just wiki this thing. We ain't gotta go too deep. Just wiki this thing. How was the Little Ice Age related to the Great Dying? This period of regional cooling, which is why they're saying we're in this global warming, because you just got out of this ice age, not little. You got out the ice age, the real ice age, northern Atlantis flow. It was not a true ice age. Stop the cavalry, because everything was frozen over. We even got glaciation lines. Glaciation lines, my nigga. In North America or India Superior, where Ishmael's migrating, you got these glaciation lines, limit of glaciation. Even the moraines relate to the rocks and soil deposited by retreating glaciers. What? What did their harmonics have to do with this? What did Morocco have to do with this? Muhammad have to do with this? Mecca had to do with this? 350-mile long triangular migrational Hajj that they're doing for over 100 years straight while migrating Ishmael, not Arabs, but Arab improper. Mustarabs. We're talking not Arab proper, not Arabis, not Joktan and them. Hell nah. Hell nah. Let's go for the dismount. Little Ice Age, right? No. Big Ice Age. Reverse the curse. It was not a true ice age. Cut it, man. Everything was frozen over. Defined as extending from the 16th century to the 19th century. So the 1500s, like the 1530 maps we're seeing, is the 16th century. And this ice age happened all throughout to the 1800s while they're migrating, while we're being invaded. Tecumseh War, 1812. Comet, Great Comet of 1811, 1812. Stop it. Some even draw it from 1300 to 1850. Now we're talking about right after the 12th century, right? Stop it, man. Several causes have been proposed. Cyclical lows in solar radiation, stop it. Heightened volcanic activity, stop it. Changes in the ocean circulation, what? That's like polar, like reversing polar. Ocean circulation changes, what? Variations in Earth's orbit, cut it. Axial tilt, you're not on the ball, cut it. We've been talking Genghis Khan, though, right? We've been talking Genghis Khan invading Prester John 1202, right? Zero in on that. Inherent variability in the global climate and decreases. Oh, here we go, boss. I like to put the real thing last. Decreases in human population, such as from the massacres by Genghis Khan. 1202 invades Prester John. All this has to be about the Hebrews, the Israelites. That's what causes complete freezing over. When the Israelites are invaded, whether we're talking Genghis Khan or the Black Death, Black Plague, bubonic plague, what? Or the epidemics emerging in the Americas. Stop the cavalry, right? Upon European contact. Would you say drop European contact? Yeah, boss. Yeah, boss. I said European contact. Who's the European? Black ass King Charles. Does he have a light skin disease too? No, I think he has a Hebrew disease. Because he's the first European conqueror of the Inca. The first European is black ass King Charles. Do you see clearly in Prester 129? Will you see clearer 130? I thought this was going to be a 10-part series. It turned into a 20-part series. It turned into can you get to 50 drop? It turned into can you get to 100 drop? Now we on 130. So this amazing freezing overness happened because of the invasion of the Hebrews in America. The Hebrews in America. Yeah, remember Columbus brought a Hebrew interpreter named Louis Torres. Please remember that for the dismount. Please remember that they're migrating, setting up Morocco, Muhammad, and Mecca, and some holy mountain, which formula has something to do with the odd dimensions of the so-called cube. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Wow. Something to do with the cube. And everything to do with the Kumse. And the Kumse has everything to do with ancient Israel, ancient America, ancient Israel. Yeah. The Kumse of the Kurimeo. The Kumse has everything to do with you, Managa. these old books in the 1800s, the same time period that Tecumseh's invaded, and all Tecumseh wants to do is tribe up all the tribes to fight against these invaders, while Ishmael migrates and forms treaties, and it becomes a more and more war in ancient America. I would say it's all happening, boss. What would you say? I would say it's all happening, boss. What does Tecumseh have to do with the more and more war? This was your last stand, man, in ancient America. Which is why we're talking the Israel Indian tragedy of Tecumseh. It's a tragedy that these tribes made treaties instead of tribing up. It's a tragedy right here in Cathay, so-called North America, Pure Land, the Promised Land, the Riman, the Roman, the Promised Land. It's a tragedy in the eyes of HaWah. That we made treaties against our own ox and aquas. We made treaties. I don't discriminate and separate nothing, man. Like, we're all responsible for this. I don't blame the Moors, because we are the greats. We are the Moors. I don't blame the Mongols, because we are the great ones. This couldn't have happened without us, man. This couldn't have happened without this Naga on Naga war, man. This couldn't happen without the same war we see in the streets. Smoking on this pack, smoking on that pack, dead homies, dissing the dead homies. What do you think this stems from, man? It's a tragedy. Ta-kun, sa, to rise. The ta is the Tao. It's an Israel, India superior tragedy, and the same tragedy led to this so-called little ice age. And what are the causes? Well, the main cause is the depopulation, the decreases in the Naga population, the Israelite population, stemming from the 1202 invasion of Genghis Khan on the Israelites in America, or Prester John, the Black Death, the epidemics, the emerging in the Americas upon European contact. And we'll leave this link, and we'll get more of this drop. The thing which is not mapping the fantastic history of the great southern continent. This essay explores mental journeys that probe the edges of knowledge and experience. Edges are inherently paradoxical and perplexing, marking both safety and danger, access and containment. In the context of travel, maps can be central to the process of locating places in the geographical and literary imagination, but cartography is also a practice that exposes where our knowledge begins and ends. Inevitably, there remains the question of what lies beyond the edge, outside the map of known places, man. This essay asks the question, how do we deal with terra incognita, the unknown or empty spaces on the map? It takes as its focus the empty space, outer space, of the conjectured great southern continent, Terra Australis, man. Australis, man. Or more correctly, Terra Australis Nondum Cognita, the Southland yet known. As its curious label suggests, this land was a putative antipodal space, first debated and described by classical authors from Pythagoras to Plato and Cicero, and mapped on paper and in the mind, despite the fact that no one had ever traveled there, or according to Aristotelian geography, could travel there, as it lay conceptually beyond the impassable torrid zone at the equator, and yet the fabled continent became the geographical meme, carrying its own recognizable intellectual tradition and even physical form, containing detailed coastline, rivers, place names, and sometimes its own civilizations, man. How many civilizations did we see on the David Rumsey map? A thing which is not, it was, like Swift's Hugh Hinnim's land, a seemingly convincing landscape of reason located in an ocean of fantasy, man. You're talking Atlantis, you're talking cities of gold, you're talking paradise, and it is the paradox of known and unknown that, like Paradise or Atlantis, with permission of the pharaohs, since the first Nasuts of Egypt or pharaohs came out of Atlantis and El Dorado, cities of gold, makes it not only the perfect geographical legend, but also a useful exemplar of how and why we make the geographies that we do, both in our minds and on our maps, Banagas. I'm talking Little Ice Age. What are you talking about? We're talking Little Ice Age. What are you talking about? Huh? For the dismount, man. I said for the dismount. We're talking Shemites. We're talking Khazars or Kabars. The original Khazars are not the Kabar. The original Khazars are not the Kabar. We're talking Ophir, cities of gold. And they call him Christ of Ophir or Christopher. Christopher is the Christ of Ophir, my nigga. What's it got to do with Kedar? What's it got to do with Cedar? Like Cedar City in Utah. It's no Cedar, it's a hard Ka. It's Kedar. First under the authority of the Parahu, Pharaoh, known as Shiva or Sheba, and Rudra or Rhoda. Now you want to talk about Rodini? Now you want to talk about this Rhoda? The Rhoda? Rodinia? Same thing, right? And the sweat hypothesis, back to the top. Because Nagas might not be ready for all this drop. Y'all let me know if I'm over dropping, man. Southwest, right? Sweat hypothesis from Ophir was the city of Kadar, or we talking Cedar, near the Gracetown, Margaret River area of Western Australia, Australis, Antarctica, Kingdom of Heber or Quivera in the southwestern corner, my nigga. We talking America, boss. Hold up, man. Hold up. I'm talking Little Ice Age. HaWah. A great catastrophe occurred in the southern hemisphere in 1530, which changed that hemisphere dramatically. It was the last in a line of catastrophes to hit the world. It was the events of 1530 AD that froze Antarctica, or Australia's, caused the Ice Age, drastically changed the coastline of Australia or Antarctica. Huge tsunamis hit Australia and New Zealand, sunk many lands and islands into the Indian and Pacific Oceans, and led to great movements of peoples, man. Now they migrating. Now they migrating, boss. Early in the great catastrophe of 535 AD were two celestial objects. Uh-oh. Now we could talk dragons, right? Hit the Gulf of Carpentaria, north of Australia, or Antarctica. Parts of the coastline sunk in Australia, and much land sunk under the water east of Australia, leaving many New Zealand behind, and caused the mini ice age, or the Great Ice Age, in the northern hemisphere, which destroyed the Arthurian Empire. And Prester John legend and the sources by King and Brewer clearly describes this Arthurian history as a hijacked King David history, where Camelot is Kalelus and Kalelus is Cibola or Shambhala in America, and sunk the Arthurian islands, kingdoms of Leonis, southwest of Cornwall, and Lochlan or Lothland, northwest of Ireland, into the Atlantic Ocean. Now we're talking Atlantis. How recent was the sinking of Atlantis? Sometime between around 700 and 500 BC. A further time, a catastrophe occurred in which much of the Southeast Asia, or Sunderland, went under the waters, and a portion of the fleeing lost Israelites, man. I can't make this stuff up. They're bringing Israelites in when we talk Southeast Asia. We've been talking Southeast Asia. We've been talking Southwest and Southeast, because all this is Asia. All this is Asia, my naga. We're talking Cathay. From the Davidic kingdom, man. Hosea 3. Search for Hawaii and King Dawid. Why? Because maybe you'll see clearly. Maybe you'll start seeing clearly the Davidic kingdom of Kedar, or as they say it today, Cedar with a C, right? In Southwest, sweat hypothesis, we're talking Antarctica, Australia's, an exodus of the Mu or Ma. Five Eyes Ma, take the wheel. Meshwesh, Meletian, we're talking Asian, man. Move to Asia Minor and Egypt. So if there's an Asia Minor, there's an Asia Major, my nigga. If there's a little Egypt, there's a big Egypt. These were the ancestors of the Gaelic speaking people of the British Islands, or British refers to these Iberus, the covenant they call. Britain means covenant, my naga. Islands, Ireland, Scotland, Braveheart, Hebrews, Kadarite or Cedarite kingdom was part of a Hebrew Phoenician Egyptian colony. In Australia, boss, I'm thinking Antarctica, because you say Tarazanta. What? Tarazanta. Wow. Why is there Phoenicia? Why is there Phoenicia in Antarctica, boss? For the dismount, my dog. This ain't no play. You got that water. Because Drum Nation got that water. Drum Nation got that water. I've been waiting to drop Prester 129 when I was feeling fine. We got a lot of catching up to do. What's Phoenicia got to do with Antarctica, man? What's it got to do with Tarazanta? Holy Land. Huh? What is this Phoenicia got to do with the Hebrew or the Egyptian or the Gypsies? Queen Hot Chef Suit, King Salman, Prince Nathan, play an important role in this revised history of ancient Australia. Ancient Australia is not modern Australia. We talking Australias. We talking Australias. Stop playing with a nugget, man. I ask one thing from you, Hijack City, in 2024. Stop playing with a nugget like you did before. Because we see clearly. We got that Jacan. We got the wings on our chakras, our ka. Yeah, boss. For the dismount. We talking air proper. Around this time, the so-called Doggerland, Tarshish, surrounding the Breton Covenant Isles, was hit by a tsunami that sunk much of the land into the sea. Tarshish was an advanced Egypto, Hebrew, Phoenician colony known for its great merchant ships. Some Jewish sources refer to these ships of Tarshish with the Dutch ships of Zebulon. I'm out of here, boss. I'm out of here, boss. In Jewish legends, the Tarshishim are known as angels, dragons, due to their long, because they got long blonde hair and their tongue. This is where you gotta dodge your own hijack, man. Hatshepsut Mot Carter was the daughter of Tutmosis Moshe, Queen Amose, meaning child of moon. Hatshepsut was the high queen of Egypt, Cush, Sheba, Kedar, and the land of Mu. Just like Tao said he comes from the land of Mu, Hiva people, HaWah. She came of a long line of moon or Mu queens. Thebes was called Washet and Washi, which can also be read Shewa. Woo! For the dismount. Shewa is what they call Shiva because they changed the W's to V. Like Hawa, they changed to Hava or Shiba. It is near Thebes that the great temple of Hatshepsut is found. Hatshepsut married King Solomon's brother Nathan. You still think it's play? Do you still think it's play? Do we not have Joseph of Egypt, and wasn't he not given like the highest Khan order? Was Joseph not basically ruling Egypt, right? Did the Hebrews not have their stake? So we can't just say, oh, wow, Egypt, all Egypt is bad. No, the Hebrews had their stake in Egypt, just like in America. The Hebrews have their stake right here in America. ThaWaDa, Nahisa, who became the royal governor of the Rodini Empire, Mu, and King Kadon. When Nathan died childless, she went to Israel, Hasharah, to fulfill the custom of Yibum, raising up a son to the name of his childless brother with Nathan's oldest brother, Soleiman. They had a son, Norada, who was the ancestor of the Virgin Mary. Cut it, man, cut it. We talking Miriam, like the Quran say. See New Testament? This is what I'm talking about. Duplications and phantoms all over the place. Yosef the real, take the wheel. We're talking Miriam, daughter of Moshe. Her daughter Neferuri, Netuna, with Solomon Senmut, was reared by her in Egypt, America, the great city of Ophir or Saphir, called the cities of Go for the dismount was built at the mouth of a great river flowing from a huge canyon bigger than the Grand Canyon in America. Whoa. Or are we talking about the Grand Canyon in America, boss? Another place that has been said to have been settled by Egyptian, Phoenician, Israelites. So the Grand Canyon has everything to do with Israel. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ancient accounts spoke of the houses being on stilts and beehive shaped in the land of the great valleys or canyons. This whole area was destroyed and sunk under the sea at a later date, along with much of this land of Sheba, Queen Sheba, or Khalifa. This great river was in ancient times known as the Eridanus River or the Red Sea. Red River in the Indian Ocean was called the Eridanus or the Erythraean Sea. And so now you got the Eritreans and the Ethiopians in the new area that they've designated Ethiopia and Eritrea. But all this connects back to India Superior in America. The Eridanus River was also known as the Cygnus or Swan. Should we get back to the Swan Knights and the Barbars? Hebrew word of the day, the Barbar, means swan. The Swan Knights, back to Calais Luz, Sylvanus took Texas. Genealogy never connects this. There is an ancient Greek myth that tells of Phaethon, the son of Helios, falling into the Eridanus River and his friend Cygnus mourning for him and turning into a swan. The Eridanus constellation is also associated with its Babylonian name of the star of Eridu. Some observers have even claimed to identify wall-like structures and a pyramid-shaped object in the Perth or Swan Canyon. And there's so much more we got to dig on. We got to dig on. We got to dig on. So much more we got to. I'm going to cut it right here, but there's so much more we got to dig on. I want to keep going. I'll just leave it here, man. I'm just going to belly flop and leave it here. Ships could sail down the ancient river of Sheba or Thebes, right? Theba, to the capital city of the land of Eber or Corvaria, which is right next to Antioch in the middle of Australia. Is this the gateways leading into Australia's Antarctica and the region of Lake Mackay? Lake Mackay itself was once part of the so-called Eromanga. And we got this Mangi situation happening, right? This is 1548, man. Mangi, Regna. Huh? Yeah. That covered much of the inland of Australia. Man. Ooh. I'm loving it, man. Belly flopping. However, the ancient Ethiopian book of the conflict of Adam and Eve tells us that Sheba was ruled by a long line of 60 queens. And remember, we learned in the Prester John legend and sources how the queens and the kings would come together like 4 times a year to have their babies and, you know what I'm saying, do their thing, right? So the queens and the kings came together. It wasn't just a matriarchy. It wasn't just a patriarchy. It was a framer and shaper flow. This line of queens began with Milcah, or the Milky Way, the first high queen of Eridu or Rhoda. So when we talk Eridu, we're talking Rhoda, like Rhode Island. But the Rhoda Kingdom connects directly to Arizona, whose mother was a prophetess, Iska, the priestess of the rose, Shashan. Shasham, the Hebrew word for queen, is Malka, that derives from this word. Oh, we got so much more to go. I'm gonna cut it. I don't want to cut it right, but I'm gonna cut it because we just popping off. This has been the 129th Managa installment of the Prester John investigation. They talking Rhoda, we talking Radin, huh? King of Rabadi, Gotti, Hidmani. But we're also talking the queens, right? Lady Hannah is Anna, is Ania, wife of Dawi, mother of Princess Dara of Rabadi, Gotti Hidmani, and Hana. And to correlate that for dismount, you got the Exarch of David. What I tell you about the Georgia flow, Sauceland of Babylon and Georgia. And David, his mama is who? Lady Hannah. The same Anna, the same Hannah. So we're not on no play. Mother of Solomon, Hanan, and David. Hanan, king of Tahama. Hanan, Jewish king of Tahama. Who, oh, who is Prester John? And will David rise again? Jeremiah seems to think so, but they shall serve HaWah. There ain't no room for no new Yeshua of the New Testament when you're going to serve the Creator and David your king, whom HaWah will raise up for you. Ezekiel 37, David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall have one shepherd, and they shall all walk in my judgments, observe my statutes and do them. They shall be code keepers when I raise up David again, who the covenant of Shalom is with. We don't have no room for no Yeshua, the New Testament. HaWah, Hosea 3 and 5. Afterwards, the children of Israel shall return. That means you're not blinded by the New Testament, because there ain't no New Testament until HaWah saves you, my nigga. You seek the Creator, which means you keep the code. And David, your Khan, and they shall fear HaWah and his goodness in the latter days. We're talking the end of days, latter days. We're talking David. We're talking HaWah. I can't make this stuff up. And is that why they got David on the map, right? Is that why they got David mapped out in the David Rumsey map? Remember, Eber is Quavera. They put a Q on there. They put a K, H, Kivera. The V's, the B's. Let's go. Cabera. Provincia is the kingdom, man. Yeah. The Strait of Anion. Anion is Lady Hannah, Hanan ben David, or Hanan, Canaan. So which Canaan do you exist in? Their Canaan or your Anion? Yep. Arsaret, right? And who, oh who, is Prester John? Why is he hiding? Look at all these dragons of the sea. Why are they putting Prester John outside the wall, outside the barrier? Huh? Who oh who is Prester John? Is he the Magi, the Dalai Lama? Yourself take the wheel, man. You have to con yourself, get the drop. The con is always popping off and appreciated, man. And they say he's in Grand Ethiopia. This melanated con is on the maps of the 1500s. He's on the map in the British Museum, my nigga. And I would say it's all happening. Because it certainly appears to be all happening. We're talking Arab pretenders, or we're talking Arab proper. They've been hiding in our tents. They've been pretending to be lawgivers. They've been pretending to be these religions, but we don't rock with no religions. We just rock with the code. We KTC. We keep the code, and that's it, man. I said that's it, man. ThaWaDa my cons for surfing the wave. 9 above the barrier. We got so much to dig on in real time, man. In battle time, look out for the Soul Bowl podcast, Top of the Soul, where Antarctica meets the southwest of India Superior, the greater southern continent. Like we always say, man, we can't make this stuff up. Tara Incognita. Tara Zonta. It's a fantastical history, is not? Is you Arab proper? Or are you a rabbi pretender? You decide, but you better keep the code, because if you ain't got that law, you are pretending. You are musty. You're a muster rat. You ain't got that code, you're a muster rat. We bring it back to E-Butter. We bring it back to Sheba. Ophir, Halal HaWah, La, or Law. We ain't on no play, Panage. We're at the place where X marks the spot, the great American eclipse, right? Crisscross applesauce. The Cathay is the Cathness. And it's always been about you. Copper Color Con. When we talk Israel, it's always been about you. Copper color races found here. back home, right? Back to India Superior. Back to Asia. You were just found here, not brought here on boats. They told you in 1828 in the dictionary, you were found right here in Asia. Cathay. In the home of the Prester. Tarzanta, who? Tarzanta, wow. Can we get out? Are we trapped forever? Are we fighting over these lands, or is it much more lands beyond the pole? Wave surfers only. We made it this far. 129. You count the hours, man. But since the beginning, we've been on a pure investigation, even before we had an understanding of the priest king, Dawi connection, anything. You know, we just were sent on this investigation by our ruach, by our energy, frequency, and vibration. So I tell you, like I told you before, man, keep surfing the wave until you become the water. Stay up, suit up, choose up, Halal HaWah, ThaWaDa, Drop Nation.